Good afternoon. Thank you everyone for joining us today, both in person and to those of you joining us online on ESPN3 and the Watch ESPN app. On behalf of the entire Uwgb family, I want to welcome you today to the introduction of the new Director of Athletics of the Green Bay Phoenix. My name is Craig Sandlin. I'm the Associate Athletic Director for External Relations, and again, want to thank you for joining us. Real quick, want to provide a rundown of today's program before we begin. We're going to begin the program with remarks from University of Wisconsin Green Bay Chancellor Dr. Gary Miller. Chancellor Miller will introduce us to the 9th Director of Athletics and Program History, Charles Guthrie. Followed by a statement by Charles. We'll open to the floor to questions from our media members. We ask the media members please wait for a microphone prior to asking their question for the benefit of our viewers online. And with that being said, I will turn it over at this time to University of Wisconsin Green Bay Chancellor Gary Miller.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. What a great opportunity this is today. George and I are very excited to have you here and to welcome Charles and his family to Green Bay. This is a very important event for us, a very important event in the life of the university. We're adding a key member to our leadership team, the 9th Director of the Phoenix Division I Athletic Program. Before we get started with the formal introduction and some comments about Charles, I want to acknowledge a few people in the room and thank a few others, and then I'll tell you a little bit about our process. John LaCrone is here, who's the Commissioner of the Horizon League. Thank you for your leadership, John, really appreciate it. Senator Dave Hansen and his wife Jane back here. Senator, thank you. I know you were instrumental in getting us the building that we're in right now, which is 10 years old today, and thank you so much. Mark Murphy, CEO of the Packers, is here. Thank you, Mark, for coming. We have a number of members here from the community who were very instrumental in getting this building, the 10th year of the Crest Center. Thank you. I just want to thank you all for being here and for your support. There are also a number of members from the Uwgb Council of Trustees. I think Lou Lukowski's back there, who's the chair of the council. Stand up, Lou, because this is important. Lou Lukowski was the very first soccer coach at Uwgb, and took them, I think, to their first tournament games, and only got the job after interviewing with Vince Lombardi, as I recall. But anyway, it's great. So I want to thank a few people that have kept the ship going during this transition. Craig Sandlin, Molly Vandervest, Beth Jones, and Cassie Batchelor. 4 people that we really counted on over the last couple of months to keep this ship moving, and they did a great job. Our faculty athletic rep, Donna Rich, I don't know if she's here or not, but she agreed to stay on a little longer while we searched for an athletic director. She's been in this role for a long time and has done a fantastic job, and I want to thank her. I also want to thank our coaches. These are incredible leaders with a deep commitment to both the university and the student athletes here. They kept their eye on the ball the whole time, some of them literally, and kept these student athletes moving toward success, and we're having just great success this year of soccer, men's soccer, fantastic, volleyball, and then we're getting ready to start up some of the other programs. But thank you to this group of leaders. My senior cabinet is here, which is the group that Charles will join. I particularly want to thank Cheryl Van Gruensman, who's our CFO, who was on the search committee there. She's sitting right back there, and also has done incredible work over the last year to position the athletic department for the future. So thank you, Cheryl, and all the others that are here. So let me just explain how we got to this day briefly. This is a very exciting day, and the AD position is one of the most important positions at the University of Wisconsin, Green Bay. Ron Pfeiffer, is Ron here? Ron Pfeiffer, Associate Chancellor and Chief of Staff, organized and conducted the search for us. And I want to thank Ron for his commitment to this process and for moving it forward with great efficiency and for understanding the vision that we had for this position. We had a small search and screen committee that assisted Ron. I want to mention 2 community members, Dennis Kreft back there, Dennis, and Eric Witzak. Is Eric here? 2 people that are on the Phoenix Fund Board, but also very, very much involved in Green Bay athletics, and they served on the search committee. Ron retained assistance from Mr. Bill Carr, who's a former athletic director at University of Florida and University of Houston, who worked with great speed and did a lot of groundwork at several meetings in Florida to develop a deep and very highly qualified pool of applicants. And we were able to, and many of whom allowed themselves to be nominated or applied for this position. And so the search committee worked through this group. We did talk to a few people on campus. We also talked to over a dozen people on the phone. This was a process that Ron and the committee worked on for a number of months. But I can tell you from the beginning of this process, from the very first day that we started looking at applications and talking to people, and those who met candidates on campus coalesced around a single candidate. And that candidate was Charles Guthrie from San Francisco State, who we're here to welcome today to the Green Bay community along with his family. Because Charles brings to us exactly what we hoped we would get in this process, and it was very clear to all of us who were in this process very early that we knew we had the right person. Wide experience in the NCAA athletics, and much of it in leadership roles, which is very, very important, and in some key areas like compliance, which is very important. A passion for the welfare of student athletes, both on the court, in the pool, on the field, and especially in the classroom. A strategic mindset and the management skills to move that strategy forward, something that we really need to think about in the next couple years as we move this program forward. Charles has an institution-wide perspective and a collaborative spirit. This is very, very important for our university because we have a very tight leadership team. They work closely together, and everybody on that leadership team has something to say about every challenge we have in the university. So the athletic director at University of Wisconsin-Green Bay is in the room for every major issue that we deal with and bringing that perspective to us, and that's very important. We knew he had the ability to connect with the community and to network and to increase resources to the program. We're very excited about that. In fact, if there's anybody in this room who has not already heard from Charles, I'd like to know who that is. I think you probably were on vacation and out of the country. Charles has a record of courage in the face of difficult leadership situations, and this is something that's very important to us, and a clear, articulated, demonstrated love for those that are less fortunate than all of us in the room, and that's a very important ideal for the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay. So my conversations with people who worked with Charles over the years confirmed all of that for us. And so we are both delighted, excited, and quite honored when Charles agreed to join us at the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay. The Phoenix Division I athletic program is one of the most important programs at the university, and it's going to continue to get more and more important as we grow, as we bring on new programs, as we develop new partnerships, and in the coming year, add 3 campuses to this growing university. And so it's especially exciting for us to have someone of Charles's caliber with us at this particular time in the history of the university. So I am very, very excited. I am certain we have the right leader for the future of the Phoenix athletic program, so it's my great pleasure now and my great honor to introduce and welcome Mr. Charles Guthrie as the 9th Director of Athletics for the Phoenix Athletics Program. I got some.
All right. Thank you, Chancellor.
You're welcome.
Well, excited to be here, first of all, and thank you for taking time to come out and hear me and speak to you all today and talk about the excitement I feel about being here at the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay. First of all, thank you, Chancellor Miller and Georgia, for providing me with a great opportunity and welcoming my family here to Green Bay. Really excited about that. It all starts with leadership, and in this profession, in higher education, as goes the chancellor or president, so goes the athletic program, and I recognize that. And having a great chancellor, someone that you can work with day in, day out, is awesome, and I'm really excited to work with Chancellor Miller. I want to also acknowledge some former presidents and chancellors I've worked with in that same realm. You talk about leadership at the top. I'd like to thank President Wong at San Francisco State University for allowing me to have an opportunity to grow and become the leader that I am today, and also have an opportunity to take that experience and move it on to an even more fantastic experience here at University of Wisconsin, Green Bay. And I also like to thank Bob Knight, and it's really interesting, his name is Bob Knight. He's the president at Clark College, and you know you're a big sports fan when your name is Bob Knight as a president. So I'd like to thank Bob Knight at Clark College for a great opportunity to allow me my first AD's job. And as you know, if there's assistant coaches or administrators out there that are coming up the ranks, as you know, it's really a challenge to get to that top seat, and I'd like to thank Clark College for that opportunity. And I also like to acknowledge a few other folks. Obviously, Mark Murphy needs no introduction, but what I'll say about Mark Murphy, 20 years ago, he took a chance on a young guy trying to break into the industry and gave me an opportunity to grow and be the administrator I am today. And throughout these 20 years, Mark has been there for a phone call away or email away to say, this is what you should probably consider, Charles. Always great advice. So Mark, thank you. Long way from Colgate playing pickup basketball. And another gentleman in the audience who came all the way out from Cape Cod, Massachusetts, is John Garner. John was literally my first boss in athletics. He was the associate commissioner for the ECAC, and I actually lived with John. So I would actually hear about athletics, and to be honest with you, the work ethic that John instilled in me early on about how athletics works was really exciting. I mean, we worked around the clock. I was an intern. I wasn't even getting paid, and then I had to go home and live with this guy and work 24/7. I think we went to bed 2:30, 3:30 in the morning doing press releases and working. He said, well, if you want to be in this industry, this is the work ethic you have to do it. And so really fortunate to have John and Mark in my life. And also Earl Edwards, who's not here. Earl had to work a soccer tournament, but he wanted to come out. And Earl Edwards is the athletic director at University of California, San Diego, and has been a great mentor of mine for a long time. So those individuals are very close. They've been a part of my team and my support over the years, and really excited about that. As it relates to UWGB, my focus and my passion all comes from academic success and the student-athlete experience. Those will be the primary areas where I'll try to address and make sure that we continue on a great path with the academics and the student-athlete experience. I think, when you work in higher education, particularly in athletics, it's about the students. And I use the mantra, students first, and that will be something that you'll hear a lot from me, is about the student-athlete experience, but also the student experience. I think when you look at athletics, it's a great way to bridge the students to come together, to rally around a cause, to have spirit for the campus, so when they leave and graduate, they have a great feeling about being a Phoenix for life. And so hopefully our administration will really focus on the student-athlete experience. Another piece that you'll hear from me is about competitive success. Everywhere I've been since the time I was in Little League, we always finished in first place. And so I strive for first place all the time. I know you may not get there when you want to, or it's challenges ahead, but every day we lace them up, we go out on the fields of competition, they're gonna know the Phoenix gave it their all, and they're gonna try to win games and be very competitive. And I'm really excited the commissioner's here, because I'm looking at that commissioner's cup and how can we go get it. And so I'm really excited about that. It'll be a broad-based approach here. Obviously basketball is important, but we want all of our programs to do very well and achieve great things on and off the field. And I gotta admit, going to California and working in athletics, not to say they don't do it everywhere in the country, but there's a broad-based approach. You can see 3,000 folks at a water polo game just as you could see a basketball game. And one of the things I learned being on the West Coast is the attention they play to some of the smaller teams that don't get a lot of visibility. So I hope that we can do a good job of providing those student athletes that participate in the golfs and the other programs and have a good time. So that being said, finally, I'd like to say in my closing remarks, it takes a village. To all the alumni, fans, student athletes, university community, donors, and community folks, I just want to let you know that this program won't go far without your support and your engagement. So I'll be around town. You will see me always with a smile on my face. I'll get to know everyone in the community, and every day you'll know someone's going to come to work and have 110%. And so I'm really excited about that. And go Phoenix.